Hare Krishna. Okay, I think now we're online. I am sorry about that. Um, Let me know if the audio is through now. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. Because anyway, so okay, we'll restart where we were at. So I'm sorry about the audio. Please let me know in the comments if it's coming through now. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, so thank you for notifying me about that. Okay, so we will go from the beginning. We have done our Mangalacharan prayers, but unfortunately the audio wasn't there. We will start with the verse 1152. So it's interesting that today's topic is how difficult it is to see Krishna. When yesterday in the Chaitanya Charitamrita class we had this, we went through the description of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the profound explanation of what it means to take darshan of the Lord. When Krishna says it's, today's word is Sudur Darsham. Durdarsham, Darsham means to see, Durdarsham means difficult to see. Sudur Darsham is very difficult to see. To see Krishna is very difficult, but we think that we can see in his deity form, which is actually his his mercy that he's making himself available to us in forms that we can see. We can only see material forms like earth, water, stuff like that. So he's making himself visible in those forms, yet the real vision of the Lord, even to see the deity, is not the same for the pure devotee and the novice. So anyway, we will get through the verse first. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Sudurdarsham idam rupam drishtavanasi yanmama deva apyasya rupasya nityam darshanakankshinaha nityam darshanakankshinaha. Synonyms. Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Sudur Darsham, very difficult to see. Idam, this, Rupam, form, Drishtavan asi, as you have seen. Yat, which, Mama, of mine. Devaha, the demigods. Api, also, Asya, this, Rupasya, form. Nityam, eternally. Darshanakankshinaha, aspiring to see. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear. Purport. In the 48th verse of this chapter, Lord Krishna concluded revealing his universal form and informed Arjuna that this form is not possible to be seen by so many pious activities, sacrifices, etc. Now, here the word Sudur Darsham is used, indicating that Krishna's two-handed form is still more confidential. One may be able to see the universal form of Krishna by adding a little tinge of devotional service to various activities like penances, Vedic study, and philosophical speculation. It may be possible, but without a tinge of bhakti, one cannot see. That has already been explained. Still, beyond that universal form, the form of Krishna with two hands is still more difficult to see, even for demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. They desire to see him, and we have evidence in the Srimad Bhagavatam that when he was supposed to be in the womb of his mother, Devaki, when he was supposed to be in the womb of his mother Devaki, all the demigods from heaven came to see the marvel of Krishna, and they offered nice prayers to the Lord, although he was not at that time visible to them. They waited to see him. A foolish person may deride him, thinking him an ordinary person, and may offer respect not to him but to the impersonal something within him. But these are all nonsensical postures. Krishna in his two-armed form is actually desired to be seen by demigods like Brahma and Shiva. In Bhagavad Gita 9:11, it is also confirmed, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam. He is not visible to the foolish persons who deride him. Krishna's body, as confirmed by Brahma Samhita and confirmed by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, is completely spiritual and full of bliss and eternality. His body is never like a material body. But for some who make a study of Krishna by reading Bhagavad Gita or similar Vedic scriptures, Krishna is a problem. For one using a material process, Krishna is considered to be a great historical personality and very learned philosopher, but he is an ordinary man, and even though he was so powerful, he had to accept a material body. So, this is what they think. Ultimately, they think that the absolute truth is impersonal, therefore, they think that from his impersonal feature, he assumed a personal feature attached to material nature. This is a materialistic calculation of the Supreme Lord. Another calculation is speculative. Those who are in search of knowledge also speculate on Krishna and consider him to be less important than the universal form of the Supreme. Thus, some think that the universal form of Krishna which was manifested to Arjuna is more important than his personal form. According to them, the personal form of the Supreme is something imaginary. They believe that in the ultimate issue, the absolute truth is not a person, but the transcendental processes described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 to hear about Krishna from authorities. That is the actual Vedic process, and those who are actually in the Vedic line hear about Krishna from authority, and by repeated hearing about him, Krishna becomes dear. Very important. Those who are actually in the Vedic line hear about Krishna from authority, and by repeated hearing about him, Krishna becomes dear. As we have several times discussed, Krishna is covered by his Yogamaya potency. He is not to be seen or revealed to anyone and everyone. Only by one to whom he reveals himself can he be seen. This is confirmed in Vedic literature. For one who is a surrendered soul, the absolute truth can actually be understood. See again. He is not to be seen or revealed to anyone and everyone. Only by one to whom he reveals himself can he be seen. This is confirmed in Vedic literature. For one who is a surrendered soul, the absolute truth can actually be understood. The transcendentalist, by continuous Krishna consciousness and by devotional service to Krishna, can have his spiritual eyes opened and can see Krishna by revelation. See the choice of words. By continuous Krishna consciousness and by devotional service to Krishna. It sounds like usually the same thing, right? Well, continuous Krishna consciousness and devotional service. Not exactly. I can be engaged in devotional, I can be engaged in service to Krishna without being Krishna conscious. And that's what usually happens, right? When we're chanting, our mind is going elsewhere. I am chanting his name, but my mind is going elsewhere. I'm not Krishna conscious. I'm not conscious of Krishna. I'm just Namakshar Bahirai. Batu Namaka Bhunai. Bate Namaka Bhunai. Say, I think who is that? Lochandas Thakur. Jagadananda Pandit. Prema Vivarta. So, yeah, Jagadananda Pandit. So he wrote that Namakshar Bahirai Bate Namaka Bhunai. We may be uttering the alphabets of the holy name, but that's not the holy name. We may be seeing the deity form of the Lord, but we're not actually seeing the Lord. So this is very enigmatic. Asadhu sange bhai. Yes. Asadhu sange bhai. Krishna nama nahi hoy. Namakshar bahirai. Bate namaka bunoy. So, so this is important. Like by continuous Krishna consciousness and by devotional service to Krishna, can have his spiritual eyes opened and can see Krishna by revelation. Such a revelation is not possible even for the demigods. Therefore, it is difficult even for the demigods to understand Krishna, and the advanced demigods are always in hope of seeing Krishna in his two-handed form. The conclusion is that although to see the universal form of Krishna is very, very difficult and not possible for anyone and everyone, it is still more difficult to understand his personal form as Shyam Sundara. So, Sudurdarshamidam Rupam. Sri Bhagavan Sudurdarshamidam Rupam Drishtavanasi Yanmama Deva Apyasya Rupasya Nityam Darshana Kankshina. It's very important. So he is, as we said, Sudurdarsham, extremely difficult to see Krishna. Now, we see the paintings of Krishna, we see the deity of Krishna, and wherever we travel, we may go to an ISKCON temple and have the darshan of the Lord. And we think we are seeing the Lord. And yesterday, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's statement, I think it's always worth to revisit that statement, right? So, Sudur Darsham, it is good to actually, just like, I mean, you may think that, oh, I have just yesterday we went through this already. But, well, the 10 offenses, we're going through it every day, right? Why? The reason being that we need to really remember that all the time. You know, most of the time what happens is we go through something and we read something and then, yeah, there was a novel thought. Then after some time, the memory fades. And that is a problem. That is really a problem. Because we do not hear the instructions regularly, we do not contemplate on them regularly, we slip to offensive, we slip to offenses. Offenses happen because we do not have very high regard. What happens is, Sannikarshotra Martyanam Anadarana Karanam, 1084:31. Familiarity breeds contempt. That's what happens. Just before the class, I was discussing with one devotee that yesterday, I mean, now we're going to read that again, how to take darshan of the Lord. But the idea is that seeing the Lord, I mean, taking darshan of the Lord can be done by the novice, by the absolute newcomer, and by the advanced devotee. But when both are seeing the Lord, both are seeing very, very differently. And the instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur are for the more advanced devotee. Advanced means one who has at least accepted the path of Krishna consciousness seriously, as opposed to a person who is just coming to the temple and, you know, like taking darshan and going out. The person who has taken to Krishna consciousness seriously, for him, the higher aspects of darshan should be known. He should know what it actually means to take darshan. And everything, all the services that we do, you know, in the beginning, everything, as I said once, a few times, in the beginning, everything seems novel. And when we come to Krishna consciousness, in the beginning, everything seems novel and exciting and new and fresh, otherworldly, and we get very excited in the beginning. And then after some time, things start to become hackneyed, things start to become stereotyped and routine, that we become numb to what we're doing. The way we chant, the way we take darshan, the way we attend a class. Like I, it's not good if we are in the class and then I just am absent-minded. I'm sleeping. It's not good because I'm not eager to actually learn something there. I should be eager to learn something there. I should have a taste. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. Namagane Sada Ruchi. So I have to always introspect myself on how am I actually approaching the devotional, the Navadha Bhakti, especially Shravanam, Kirtanam and Darshanam and Smaranam and all that. How am I approaching these things? Yes, we have access to these processes. Very easily we have access. Somehow, by the mercy of Krishna, what is extremely difficult, what is had only in one in trillions and trillions of lives, we have access to that, Krishna consciousness. But how seriously are we applying to it? And that's why in the second verse of Shikshashtaka is very important to meditate on. Durdaiva midrisha mihajani nanuragaha. My misfortune is that I'm not attracted. I have no anuraga for this process of Krishna Nama Sankirtan. I don't have an attraction to this process. And we should really deeply contemplate about that, because as much as we have access to the process, how seriously are we applying ourselves to it? It's like fire can burn and fire can cook. But if the pot is high above the fire, how is it going to cook? How is the fire going to cook the ingredients in the pot? So we have access to the fire of Krishna consciousness, but we need to become pakka. Pakka means to be cooked, not kacha. Kacha means raw. We cannot be raw. We need to be cooked properly. The rice needs to be cooked. So we have to stay near the fire. Oh, I know fire is there. Yeah. That's not enough. I have to apply myself to the fire. So, Durdarshamidam Rupam, Sudurdarshamidam Rupam. This is so important. Sudurdarshamidam Rupam. And here it is said, Deva Apyasya Rupasya Nityam Darshana Kankshanaha. So even the demigods they are hankering Nityam Darshana Kankshanaha. Actually, that should be our eternal state. He Radhe Vraja Devike Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta. You see, they prayed. Let me see. He Radhe Vraja Devike. Yeah. You see what they are saying? They are in Viraha. This Nityam Darshana Kankshanaha means Viraha. Vipralambha. The separation. Kankshanaha. He Radhe Vraja Devike Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta Shri Govardhana Kalpa Pada Patale Kalindi Vane Kuta Ghoshantaviti Sarvato Vrajapure Khedair Mahavihvalo Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances to the six Goswamis, namely Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Jiva and Gopal Bhatta Goswamis, who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, O Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha, desiring to see the Lord. Are you just on the hill of Govardhan, or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were the moods in executing Krishna consciousness, and this is the highest. In the Ramananda Samvad, Krishna and Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was when Ramananda Rai was explaining the process of self-realization, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pushed him, okay, what is a higher principle, higher principle, higher principle, starting off with Varnashram Dharma. Although it is valid, yes, what is higher? And then he went one by one, one by one, one by one. Even he came to the gopis, and even then there was higher. Finally, Vipralambha is where it stops. Vipralambha means the intense desire to see Krishna and in separation from him. That is much higher than meeting. Sangama viraha vikalpe varamiha viraho nasangamantasya ekasya eva sange tribhuvanamapi tanmayam virahe. Separation from Krishna is better than meeting him. When I meet him, there is only one Krishna, but when I am separated from him, the three worlds become filled with Krishnas. But this is a very high stage of Nityam Darshana Kankshana. In that Nityam Darshana Kankshana, there is actually darshan. If I don't have Darshana Kankshana, Darshana Kanksha, Akanksha means desire. So, if I don't have Darshana Kanksha, then I actually don't have darshan. Because I am not eager to see Krishna. I'm just, Krishna, I can see Krishna. Yeah, whenever I want, I can go to the temple room and I can see Krishna. That's actually a wrong mood of darshan. We should always know, Okay, let's actually read this because it is so instructive that we should never forget this. So Srila Saraswati Thakur demonstrated Drigdrishya Vichar when at Sri Chaitanya Mat he was once standing at the doorway of the inner sanctum looking toward the deities of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari. Chaitanya Gaurnitai and Gandharvika Giridhari. Guru Gauranga. Since Srila Saraswati Thakur was not wearing his spectacles, an accompanying disciple suggested that perhaps he was unable to properly see the deities. Srila Saraswati Thakur smiled and said, "We should not think of the Supreme Lord as an object of our vision." You see, that's the thing about Saraswati Thakur and a spiritual master in general. He he can take a very ordinary conversation and make it extremely deeply philosophical. And that is because they're always in that deep philosophical mood. They're not actually very superficial. They may appear superficial to us, but actually they're not. They're very deeply contemplative always, and they're actually with the Lord. So it's to treat them as the objects of a superficial conversation or a participant in a superficial conversation or a presence. It's not. That's why namartya buddhya suyeta sarvadeva mayo guru acharyam mam vijanayan navamanyata karhichit. So we cannot see that that he's doing the same thing as us. He may look like that, but it's not. So he just said a simple thing because he was looking at the deities. Oh, you don't have your spectacles. Maybe can I give you spectacles? Maybe you're unable to see. Should I get your spectacles? If he just said that, he could have said no need. Or yeah, give me my spectacles. Thank you for asking. No, he is instructing his disciple. First of all, it is near impudence to suggest to the spiritual master that, oh, do you need spectacles to see the Lord? But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur smiled. He understood that such and such a person, this disciple, has taken seriously to Krishna consciousness, but he does not mean to offend me, but his understanding is not there. So let me help him out to understand what it actually means to see the Lord. So he wanted to give me the spectacles, but I will give him the spectacles of Shastra Chakshu. Then he can actually see things as they are. So what effectively Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did was he gave the spectacles to his disciples and showed him that he's actually always seeing the Lord and he's not seeing. Although he has no spectacles and his vision was clear, but it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who was actually seeing the Lord and not his disciple. This is very enigmatic, very, very interesting, very philosophically profound. So let's go on. Since Srila Saraswati Thakur was not wearing his spectacles, an accompanying disciple suggested that perhaps he was unable to properly see the deities. Srila Saraswati Thakur smiled and said, "We should not think of the Supreme Lord as an object of our vision. Instead, we should meditate on how we can acquire some qualification to become worthy objects of His vision." Because that's the thing, right? Okay, for example, I will give you a very crude example. If Prabhupada is doing a big program, okay, thousands of people are attending. Now, if you are in the crowd and you're looking at Prabhupada and he's doing a lecture and everyone is looking at Prabhupada. But if Prabhupada looks at you among the thousands of people in the crowd, how would you feel? Oh, Prabhupada took notice of me. So imagine, so we are all looking at Krishna, not really looking, but okay, we have theoretically accepted this is the deity form, and this is where I'm trying to look at Krishna. But is Krishna looking at me? Actually, it's the other way around. If you take factually, Krishna is always looking at us, we are not looking at him. But that looking is different. That is an impartial looking or overseeing. But looking means to actually take notice of us, to be interested in us. Of course, he's always interested. But there is a special partiality he has for his devotees. And am I even worthy of being in front of the Lord? Yes, I want to see the Lord madly, or I don't know how mad I am to see the Lord, but I want to see the Lord. I claim I want to see the Lord. Do you think it is easy to see the Lord? Do we think it is easier? Do we think after this life we go back to Krishna? I mean, today's verse, even the demigods are waiting for an opportunity to see the Lord. And we think we are qualified now, that we are greater than the demigods, and suddenly we can see Krishna. We should never think like that. And that's where our respect for the demigods also comes. Because if we are a devotee, we have to respect the demigods also. Why? Because they are great servants of Krishna. We should not worship them for material benefits and stuff, but we should respect them as great devotees. We can only do that if we think of ourselves as very, very low. If the devatas are always in Nityam Darshana Kankshana platform, and I am thinking I am already taking darshan of the Lord, something is amiss. Something is wrong. Something is off. So I think the demigods, we don't worship. Not that mood. Yes, we should not worship, but not that we reject them or we disrespect them. We should understand, we should always think of ourselves as the lowest. And I am unable to see the Lord. I'm really unable to. That's why every morning we sing, Nayane Heribo Sada Jugal Rupa Rashi, Mora E Abhilash, Vilas Kunja Diovas. Mora E Abhilash. It is my desire that I want to stay in Vrindavan, I want to reside in Vrindavan. And with these eyes, I want to see the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That's a very deep verse. That's a very deep stanza of that song. Every stanza is deep there. But that kankshana should be there. That akanksha, that greed for Krishna should be there. We should not take it that I'm actually seeing the Lord. He Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite. He Nandasuno Kutaha, where are you? And that person is actually seeing the Lord. One who's anxious to see the Lord actually sees the Lord. And who can be anxious? When he has some credit of piety, of bhakti, such anxiousness can come only when Krishna desires, when Krishna blesses us with such anxiety to want to see him. Swayameva spuratyadaha. So let's read that part again. We should not think of the Supreme Lord as an object of our vision. Instead, we should meditate on how we can acquire some qualification to become worthy objects of his vision. So, how do we become actually worthy objects? We have to serve the spiritual master, his order. If we are actually interested in going back to Krishna, we should really apply ourselves to the order of the spiritual master. What is the order of our spiritual master, Prabhupada? Distribute books, make devotees, of course, everything else, 16 rounds, following four principles. But those things are just the bare minimum. Prabhupada, will he be satisfied if we do those things? Yeah, but his real order, like he never said his guru's order was to chant 64 rounds or something like that. He did not say that. He said, my Guru Maharaj's order is to preach in the Western world. But he also said, you chant so many rounds, right? Yes, but Prabhupada never said that that was the order. That is just to keep ourselves fit to execute the order, the real order. Because the real order is not just for me to, if I'm really following the sadhana of chanting so many rounds and eating prasadam and doing all these things, then I should get some taste by which I will start to think, hey, people are really missing out if they're not having this taste in life. I need to help them out. I need to share this with others. So the need or the desire to preach will come. Prana achijar shehe tu prachar. If I have life, if I'm alive in Krishna consciousness, then I will want to preach. And if I don't have that desire, I'm dead. I myself am dead. I have no taste. If I'm excited about something, I want to share about it with others. Just give me a moment here. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay, so 1 second. Where were we? We were saying, yeah, worthy objects of vision. So we should consider whether he wants to see us and reveal himself to us. Huh? Whether he wants to reveal himself to us or not. Then reading on, following the example of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took darshan of Jagannath in Puri from a distance, from behind the Garuda Stambha at the entrance to the temple. He explained, we will stand behind our Guru Garuda. Jagannath will look at Garuda because Garuda is his devotee. Then he will also cast his merciful glance upon us. So this is the mood. You see how he's not. So in that is the real mode of taking darshan. And it is not just the physical aspect of it. It is the consciousness of it. Oh, such a nice thought. Okay. He will see Garuda and beneath him I will be there. And he said, the Lord will see my Guru Garuda and then he may see me in relation to my Guru. Now, I can do that physically, but do I have that consciousness all the time? Like, for example, when we are chanting, the holy name is not different from the Lord, but we have not realized it. And therefore, we become inattentive. Because if we when we really know that for a fact, we will be super attentive. If Krishna comes here right in front of me, what will my feeling be? What will I be doing? Krishna is there and I say, okay, how are you? Okay, yeah. Will I be like that? Or will I be like completely drawn, completely transfixed on him? I think the latter, right? If it's really. Okay, just a minute. Huh? Okay. So I would be transfixed on the Lord. The same thing should be there when we're chanting, but we always lose that idea, lose that understanding, lose that. So how to get to that is, first of all, I should theoretically accept. I should axiomatically accept that that's the fact, and then always control my mind. So I should put effort. It's not that if I put an effort, then I will be able to make it. No. What happens is, if I put effort like that, if I constantly remind myself, then Krishna will be pleased with our effort. If we are sincerely doing it, then he will choose to, okay, I will reveal himself. So he will give the realizations slowly, slowly, as we surrender. So Guru, so Krishna is always saying my Guru. So if I serve my Guru's instruction, then only I can come within the vision of the Lord. So like that I should think. After once taking darshan in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur expounded, Jagannath is not drishya but drashta. Drishya means the seen. Drashta means the seer. Only when a jiva is wholly free from the conception of himself being drashta, and when he is fully situated in the understanding of himself as drishya of Jagannath and to be enjoyed by him. So our object of our senses is, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. These five things. In these five things categories, all objects are there for our enjoyment. So when we think that the Lord is an object of our vision, we think that I need to enjoy the Lord. That's actually when I say that I am seeing Jagannath or I want to see Jagannath, I want to enjoy, because I'm considering him to be an object of my enjoyment of my senses. Now there are verses in the Bhagavatam and Mukundamala Sutra that, and many other places, that the perfection of the eyes is to actually see the Lord. But when we are looking at the deity, yeah, at one level we are seeing the Lord, yes, because Krishna is kind enough, but we are not having the full darshan of the Lord yet actually. We're very far away from really seeing the Lord. Really seeing the Lord happens when we satisfy our Guru, we understand from him first the instructions, and then we execute his order, carry out his order, and if he is pleased with us, then he may recommend, then Krishna will be interested, and then he will see us, and then eventually we will get the power to see him. And see him means not as an object of enjoyment, but in the form of actually wanting to serve him. That's why a devotee never really asks for, oh, I want to go back to Vaikuntha and see you. Of course, he says there are prayers that when can I see you? But again, that seeing means not just premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena pasanta sadaiva hridayeshu vilokan. This premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena is very different from our current eyes. Eyes imbued with love means they are only there to serve the Lord, not to enjoy the Lord. So anyway, this is very, very profound, very, very subtle. But anyway, let's go on. Jagannath is not drishya but drashta. Only when a jiva is wholly free from the conception of himself being drashta, And when he is fully situated in the understanding of himself as Drishya of Jagannath and to be enjoyed by him, then only can the Jiva remain Sevonmukha and with eyes of love actually have darshan of Jagannath. As long as we think, I shall see Jagannath, then we shall not see him. But only wood, stone, an object described in Buddhist literature, or an antique handless statue that is an object of our enjoyment. Eyes of flesh can never chalk out the Satchidananda Vigraha. Only persons who realize themselves as Drishya, whose eyes see by hearing from Shastra or by chanting the holy names, may have darshan of the Satchidananda reality. On another occasion, he says, one who sees must do so with bhakti. A pure devotee is a servant of Bhagavan, and non devotees are those with extraneous desires, karmis, jnanis, yogis, and the rest. If in the mood of an enjoyer we go to see Jagannath, regarding him as an object of our enjoyment, then we will simply see a maimed wooden doll and return. Some will say Jagannath is armless Ram, Ram without arms, a wooden doll. Others consider him a wooden mannequin with spirit inside. When a devotee requested of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, be merciful to me, I want to see Bhagavan in this life. Again, we have our heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to people like this who foolishly ask these questions. But although they ask such foolish questions to a personality as grave and as direct and as straightforward and as elevated as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they say, I want to see Bhagavan. You got to really appreciate their courage or their foolishness. Because if you know anything about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, you would never dare to ask him that kind of question because you really understand what he's saying. But of course, these people do not understand. or they never heard enough of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, enough from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to understand his stature. Anyway, they asked him this. It's like, it's popcorn worthy stuff because you got to see the fun. I mean, after a person asks like that, it's going to be a movie after that. The roast that he's going to get, and also, and instead of popcorn, it should be notebooks because there we have to take notes. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says like that, and he replies to these things, he answers in such profound ways that it is not just a reply to that person, and the other persons are like, yes, 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 we knew that. But no, it will educate even the seasoned devotee, not just the novice and not just the one who's a cursory devotee, but the seasoned one. Yeah, he answers in such profound terms that um, it begs us to reflect and contemplate on those instructions. So, when a devotee requested of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, be merciful to me, I want to see Bhagavan in this life, he was reproved. Will you see Bhagavan or will Bhagavan see you? For your own satisfaction, you want to see Bhagavan. This is not the correct attitude. Thus, again, insinuating that simply an impression on the retina is not sufficient for seeing the Supreme Lord. To actually see him, one must serve the Guru and be awarded divine vision. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati insisted, the path to see God is by service-inclined subservience to the Guru. Service-inclined subservience. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Who is a transparent subservience to the Guru, who is a transparent representative of the Parampara, and by waiting for and expecting the mercy of Krishna. Srila Saraswati Thakur emphasized that hearing from devotees is more important than independently reading Shastra or attempting to see the Lord directly. He would cite Shrutekshita Patha, the process of seeing by hearing, and explain vision of Krishna can be attained only through the medium of the ear by hearing Harikatha from pure Vaishnavas. So, I think yesterday this I think this is the verse, right? 11, 14, 26. यथा यथात्मा परिमृज्यते सो मत्पुण्यगाथा श्रवणाभिधानैः तथा तथा पश्यति वस्तु सूक्ष्मं चक्षुर्यथैवाञ्जनसम्प्रयुक्तम्. When a diseased eye is treated with medicinal ointment, it gradually recovers its power to see. Similarly, as a conscious living entity cleanses himself of material contamination by hearing and chanting the pious narrations of my glories, he regains his ability to see me, the absolute truth, in my subtle spiritual form. You see, by hearing and chanting the pious narrations of my glories, he regains his ability to see me, the absolute truth, in my subtle spiritual form. I mean, imagine we are unable to see air, we cannot see ether, we definitely cannot see the mind, we cannot see intelligence, we cannot see false ego, we cannot see the soul, and yet we want to see the Lord. Imagine the audacity, the sheer foolishness of that endeavor. Like, we should know really, because subtle spiritual form, sukshmam, you see, sukshmam, subtle, being non-material. So we cannot even perceive material things, and we want to see the sukshmam. We cannot see the soul, we want to see the super soul, we want to see the personality of Godhead. How difficult that is. That's why today's verse is so important. Sudurdarshamidam rupam. Of course, he's talking about, he spoke about the Virat Rupa, which is already difficult to see, because he said nobody has ever seen this, because in 1148, that's what is being referred to. You see, न वेद यज्ञाध्ययनैर्न दानैर्न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः एवं रूपः शक्य अहं निर्लोके द्रष्टुम त्वदन्येन कुरु प्रवीरा. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. So even the Virat Rupa also can't be seen. And in the beginning, before even showing the Virat Rupa, Krishna said this, Natu mam shakyase drashtum anenaiva swachakshusha divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogameshwaram. But you cannot see me with your present eyes, therefore I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. So with our material eyes, we cannot see the universal form. So he gave him divine eyes to see the universal form. Now, his two-handed form is even more confidential than this one, even more subtle, the Sham Sundar. And today we can see how difficult it is. Sudurdarsham, not just Durdarsham, Sudurdarsham idam rupam drishtavanasi yan mama. And difficult to see, not because just it is subtle or something. Yes, that is, but the real reason is not that. The real reason why it is difficult is not because of the composition of the Lord's form, Satchidananda Vigraha. It's our mood. Oh, we can have a physical, scientific explanation on why we can't see the Lord. That our eyes can only see material elements, and it's all this earth, water, fire, air, and ether, mind, intelligence, and ego, and all this is subtle, and that is even more subtle. So that's why we cannot see, because we can only see gross things in this world. Well, yes, but how is the pure devotee then able to see with these eyes? Of course, he has divine eyes, but as he's seeing, like Prabhupada, he was taking darshan of the deities, and he was having conversations with the deities. Sometimes devotees saw him having conversations with the deities, but those are not sentimental conversations. They are actual conversations with the deities. They're actually having a two-way conversation. And we don't have access to that kind of um, participation with the Lord. We don't have that. So how is he able to see when scientifically it is difficult, it is impossible to see? So it's not that the composition of the form of the Lord. No, not that. That's not the reason. The reason is the mood. Why it's Sudurdarsham? What makes him Sudurdarsham? Because only by bhakti, actually, if you see the order in which these verses are ordered, that's why I was explaining. The order of the verses is also important. Usually, what we do is, like in these lectures, we go deep down into one verse, maximum two verses, something like that. But the entire order, if you see the order, like the sequence of the verses, then we will have another perspective on it. And I'll just show you. Like here is saying Sudurdarsham, and even the Devatas, they are aspiring to see the Lord. Okay. Now, next verse, he says, I'm just going to skim through it. He says, Shakyam evam vidho drashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha naham vedar na tapasana dhanena chejaya. So I cannot be easily had. One cannot see me as I am. And then, how can you see me? That is here. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham eva vidhorjuna jnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. The difficulty when it is said Sudur Darsham, it's not just because of the composition of the form of the Lord, but because we are so averse to bhakti. We are so averse. Even when we come to bhakti, we are still actually very averse to the real aspects of bhakti. Like, for example, the offensive chanting we do, the offensive service, so many things. We offend devotees, offend the Shastra, offend Dham, offend Nam. So that is our aversion to real bhakti. We want to take it, but still we are not there yet. We are still committing so many offenses. So he says only by bhakti and pure bhakti, to ananyaya, see, bhaktya to ananyaya shakya, without having any other motive, then shakya. Shakya means able. What is shakya? Possible, you see. Shakya means possible. So we're able to see evam vidhorjuna jnatum drashtum cha tattvena praveshtum cha parantapa. You see, my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service, and this undivided happens at a very, very advanced stage of devotion. We will go through that. Only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. What is undivided? So when it is divided, so we are remembering Krishna for a while, and then there is a huge distraction, and then okay, again we remember Krishna. So that's what is happening right now. There's huge gaps between our remembrances of Krishna throughout the day. Or we're remembering Krishna, but not to the depth that we need to. It's superficial, mixed with so many other things in our life. Now, so we will go through this. It is explained in the NOI 8. NOI 8. In the purport, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is quoted here. Okay. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has commented as follows upon this verse. One who has not yet developed interest in Krishna consciousness should give up all material motives and train his mind by following the progressive regulative principles, namely chanting and remembering Krishna and his name, form, qualities, pastimes, and so forth. In this way, after developing a taste for such things, one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly remembering Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, and qualities under the direction and protection of an expert devotee. This is the sum and substance of all instruction regarding the cultivation of devotional service. Now, this is very fast forward. So, okay, now the stages, how we actually advance in a slow motion. Okay, in the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana Dasha. Shravana Dasha, the stage of hearing. At this stage, we don't have access to that kind of darshan and all that, right? So Durdarsham, yes, we should accept that. And we should not try because it's not going to be gotten by simply trying hard. No, it's not. We cannot get it. What we should do is try hard to satisfy Krishna. Whatever we are given, we should do it properly. Do it with more attention, do it with more concentration, do it with more devotion, reduce our distractions. We should try whatever is within our means. That hard we should try, yes. But that is not proportional to whether the Lord will be available to us or not, because Narada Muni tried very hard. In the first canto, 6th chapter, it is said, he saw the Lord once and he was so overwhelmed by ecstasy that, and then after that, he disappeared. The Lord disappeared in his meditation. And then he tried so hard, but he could not get that darshan again. And I think we will go there and come back here because that's very instructive. It is in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:6. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to 1:6:17 first, and then we'll see from there a few verses. So you see, Premati bhara nirbhinna pulakango tinirvritaha ananda samplave lino napasham ubhayam mune. O Vyasadeva, at that time, being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could see neither myself nor the Lord. Wait a minute. 16, what is that? Yeah, this is actually 1:6:16. Dhyayatascharanam bhojam bhava nirjita chetasa outkanthyaashrukalakshasya hridyasin me shanair harihi. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead with my mind transformed in transcendental love, tears rolled down from my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna appeared on the lotus of my heart. It's not that 1 second. Very soon. Okay, this happened. Maybe it's 1 second. We don't know. But he did it with the utmost seriousness. That's the point, really. It's not, oh, how come I am not getting the same time frame? We're not getting the same time frame because we don't have the same seriousness. That's the real answer. Yadrishi Shraddha Siddhir Bhavati Tadrishi. As much as our Shraddha is there, that much we will get our Siddhi or perfection in this. Okay. Now, so very soon he saw Krishna. Okay. Now what happened? Premati bhara nirbhinna pulakango tinirvrita ananda samplavelino napasham ubhayamune. Being exceedingly overpowered by feelings of happiness, every part of my body became separately enlivened. Being absorbed in an ocean of ecstasy, I could see neither myself nor the Lord. Okay. So it was in ecstasy. Rupam bhagavato yattan manah kantam suchapaham apashan sahasotasthe vaiklavya durmana iva. The transcendental form of the Lord, as it is, satisfies the mind's desire and at once erases all mental incongruities. Upon losing sight of that form, I suddenly got up, being perturbed, as is usual when one loses that which is desirable. So he lost sight of the Lord. Then, didrikshustadaham bhuyah pranidhaya manohridi vikshamanopi napashyam avitripta ivaturaha. I desired. So now this is the point I'm trying to make. So when with our hard work, we cannot see the Lord. If we try harder, it's not that, oh, I did not try so hard yesterday, but I felt happier when I was chanting, but today I'm like really concentrating, but still it's not the same. It's because our desire, and also the Lord wants to make it. Okay, so let's actually read, because Lord explains everything by himself. I desired to see again that transcendental form of the Lord, but despite my attempts to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness to view the form again, I could not see him anymore. And thus, dissatisfied, I was very much aggrieved. He attempted so many times to concentrate upon the heart with eagerness. Whereas when he saw, yes, he was still concentrating, but he could almost have the darshan of the Lord with ease, without much difficulty, very soon, very quickly he could have. But now, despite his great endeavor, he is unable to see what is happening. So here we have to understand the reciprocation of the Lord is not tied to our efforts. The Lord, we should always understand, is swarat, independent. As much as he says, I am always, giving myself to the devotees and I'm always controlled by them, that is a very, very high grade devotee. That is an extremely high grade devotee. Here, Narad Muni was, even though he could actually see the Lord, still he was not on the level that perfected devotees are. Then how could he see the Lord then? Okay, so despite his attempts of concentrating upon the Lord, he could not see. So now let's see. You see, here Prabhupada explains, there is no mechanical process to see the form of the Lord. It's not that, oh, here is the formula. This is the constant, this is the formula. If you apply this, you will get the answer. You will see the Lord. Here is the recipe, and here you will see the Lord. If you do this, you will see the Lord. No. You can do the same thing as Narad Muni did, you cannot see the Lord. If the Lord does not want to show himself, he sees the mood. With what mood are we doing it? And if he thinks that we are, it's like Narad Muni, although he was concentrating on the Lord, which is a nice thing, which is the correct thing to do, right? To try to concentrate on the Lord. Then why did the Lord not show himself to him? Because the Narad Muni now is trying to see the Lord by his endeavor. That is wrong. So again, let's read the purport. He was not understanding that the Lord has to show himself. If I try harder, I can see the Lord. I can probably see. It's not like that. So there is no mechanical process to see the Lord, see the form of the Lord, or to even chant. There's no mechanical process. Of course, we should hear what we're saying, but also we should have the mood of we should be interested in Krishna when we're chanting. So it completely depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. Causeless mercy is important here. His mercy does not depend upon a cause. Oh, because I'm doing this much, that's the cause of his showing mercy. Although he says, Ye yatham am prapadyanti tam sathaiva bhajamiham, but he's not tied. That's his benevolence that he wants to reward us according to our efforts, but he can choose not to. That's why the 8th verse of the Shikshashtaka is Aslishava padratam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotva yatha tathava vidadhatu lampato mat prananathastu saeva naparaha. You are my Lord, whether you come before me or you don't give your darshan to me, you trample me under your foot, you never show any mercy, anything, it doesn't matter. You are my Lord. Because you are independent, you can do whatever you want. How can I demand that, oh, now I'm doing this, so therefore you must show yourself to me, you must show your mercy to me, you must give me success in my endeavors? The Lord is not obliged. As long as we think that we can control the Lord, Arjuna could control the Lord, Arjuna could kick him on the shoulder and kick him on the right shoulder, and Krishna turned right, the chariot. Because that's how you drive a chariot on the battlefield. You can't shout, Krishna, turn right, and then shoot arrows at the same time. Turn left, brake now, accelerate. He cannot shout all these things. And even if he shouted, he cannot be heard, because the elephants are shouting, the horses are shouting, the warriors are shouting, weapons are clashing with each other. There is tumultuous sound on the battlefield, and the roars of people who are getting hurt and getting all riled up for the battle. You can't, the war cries, you just can't. You just can't be heard on a battlefield. So how does the charioteer know where to turn? How does he know what the archer on the chariot wants? He's not going to look like this all the time. So there, the communication is that he taps on the right shoulder and then he shoots, and then taps on the left shoulder and then shoots. So in that way, so Krishna was receiving the kicks of Arjuna and he was just driving the chariot. Now, if I think I can control Krishna like that, I'm sorry, we cannot. To come to that level where Krishna is becoming a complete order carrier of his devotee is not an ordinary thing. It's intense devotion that made Arjuna to be in that position. Huh? So it completely depends on the causeless mercy of the Lord. We cannot demand the Lord to be present before our vision, just as we cannot demand the sun to rise whenever we like. The sun rises out of its own accord, so also the Lord is pleased to be present out of his causeless mercy. One should simply await the opportune moment and go on discharging his prescribed duty in devotional service of the Lord. Narad Muni thought that the Lord could be seen again by the same mechanical process which was successful in the first attempt. But in spite of his utmost endeavor, he could not make the second attempt successful. In fact, he tried harder the second time. He could not. The first time was not as hard, but he got it. So did I go something wrong? No, it's nothing wrong. The wrong is that you're thinking that I can see the Lord with my endeavor. I can control the Lord with my endeavor. I can bring him, I can trap him within my vision with my endeavor. No, never. He is always Swarat. The Lord is completely independent of all obligations. You see that? He can simply be bound up by the tie of unalloyed devotion. Nor is he visible or perceivable by our material senses. When he pleases, being satisfied with a sincere attempt of devotional service by one depending completely on the mercy of the Lord, then he may be seen out of his own accord. We should understand one thing, that it's not a mechanical process to see the Lord. We should understand that we are dealing with a person. Okay, for example, such and such is the address of a person. If you take this route and when you go there, knock on the door, you will get the person. You can talk to the person. If I say that. Now, a person may actually follow all the route and he may try knocking on the door. But if that person does not open the door, this person cannot deal with him. So, suppose that person is there in that house and a family member or a friend comes. Without him even knocking on the doorbell, he automatically opens. He's waiting. Oh, he hears the sound of the car coming and he knows that, okay, my guest is coming, my friend is coming. And in fact, before he even presses on the doorbell, he automatically opens the door and please come. Or if he's not that much eager, then when the calling bell happens, then he sees through okay, it's my friend, okay, I'll open the door. Or my relative or my family member, whatever. But if it's a thief, he got to the same address, but he's not in a friendly disposition with this person, or he's not sure, he will not open the door. He will not open the door. So, it is not a mechanical process that I can have access to that person. Because he's a person. His feelings matter. Whether he considers you a friend or an enemy or a stranger or suspicious or whatever, his feeling matters. So that's why it's not anybody who goes and take this route, he can reach this person and talk to him. No, not any person. Same thing with the Lord. So he's not obliged. It's not a mechanical process because the Lord is not a machine. It's not like you like on a keyboard, if I type something, the words will come out. Because it's a machine programmed. The Lord is not a machine. That if you put in the code and then you will get the result exactly as another coder would put the code. If I copy paste the code, you can get the same result. That's a machine. You cannot copy paste the code with the Lord, because the Lord is a person, just as any other person. Like a cat and a mouse, like a cat carrying a kitten in the mouth and cat carrying a rat in the mouth. It's the same mouth. Kitten is feeling love, rat is feeling death. Why may I say, oh, it looks the same? Yeah, it looks the same. The mood is completely different. The mood is what matters. How you perceive. The cat, how he perceives the rat and the kitten is totally different. So because we're dealing with a person and we have to satisfy the person. So that's what we miss. We think with our thing, it's a mechanical thing, or it's like I do the same code again. I'm not getting this time. What happened? Because you think you can get him. And the Lord is not interested in such attitude. Oh, you think you can get me? No, you can't. So, well, now you may ask the question, why would the Lord actually not be interested? Because the Lord has been waiting forever for us to turn to Him. And when we do turn to Him, He acts like He's difficult to get. He plays difficult to get. Why is that so? Why is He doing that? Why is He manipulating us? Why is He like playing games with us? No, He's not. He's not. As much as He's eager to see us back. Oh, I think our live stream to the Facebook is kind of having a problem. I'm having an issue, but I think most of you are watching on YouTube, so I will just go ahead. I would not want to be bothered. Okay, so why would the Lord not want to show Himself? Hey, finally He's turning back to me. Okay, here I am. Why doesn't He do that? Because He knows what got us to this material world. You know what got us here? The tendency to control, the tendency to want to control. And if I have the same attitude approaching the Lord, that I want to control the Lord with my efforts, I want to have a sense of control over the Lord, then I would feel comfortable. Because in this material world, that's how it happens. We are only comfortable when we have a sense of control over something, right? If there is no control, then we hesitate. We're hesitant on approaching something that we don't have full control on. We want to have control. Then we will want to lean into it. So that comes from a tendency of overlordship. Unless I control, I don't want to. And in material circumstances, that actually kind of is the right thing to do. Because you can't trust solely and wholly everything in this material world. So that may be a cautious step to take. But with the Lord, if I have the same thing that I want to control, then I want to lean into it, into the relationship. The Lord wants to always remind us that He is the controller. The very fact that we wanted to be the controller got us here in the first place. So He wants to remove that sense of wanting to control from our deepest cores of our hearts. So it can manifest in the most subtle way. Although I am wanting to become a devotee, I want to be the controller in the relationship with Krishna. No. We are not allowed. We are not allowed like that. Unless we come to the point of Ashlishava Padaratam Pinashtumam, Adarshanan Marma Hatam Karotava, Yatha Tathava Vidadhatu Lampado Mat Prananathasthu Saevanapara. Unless we come to that only Krishna, okay, let's actually, okay, I think you know the verse. So, the Sikshashtaka 8. Whether you come before me, whether you trample me, whether you not show yourself to me, you're my Lord. I am not going to leave you no matter what you do. Even if you punish me in the worst possible way. And like Pandavas, I mean, they were the devotees all the way in the whole life. And they went through so much. Yet not once did they say that, Krishna, what are you doing? Like, Why are we even your devotees? What is the point of being your devotee? And those people are having a nice time. I mean, if you imagine, even though finally the war was won by the Pandavas, by the time, what was their age? 89, 90 years old, Arjuna was. Yudhishthira was at least 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years elder to him. In his 90s, Yudhishthira, when the war happened. So, still the Pandavas could have been like grumpy and said, "Come on, Krishna. I mean, all our youthful years when we could have done something at that time, you never gave us the Yudhishthira. I mean, the Duryodhana enjoyed in his youth. We are only enjoying in our old age. He had a better life than us. Although we won the war, yeah, but we only got it in our old age. He enjoyed in his youth. Like you favored him more than us. Not one complaint. And that's why. That's precisely why this is true. सारथ्य पारषद सेवन सख्य दौत्य वीरासनानुगमन स्तवन प्रणामान् स्निग्धेषु पाण्डुषु जगत् प्रणतिं च विष्णोर् भक्तिं करोति नृपतिश्चरणारविन्दे. Maharaj Parikshit heard that out of his causeless mercy, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, who is universally obeyed by even the greatest of demigods, rendered all kinds of service. I mean, imagine Indra, Shiva, Brahma are so careful in their service to Krishna. They are afraid. They are afraid. Krishna says, out of fear of me, the wind blows, the fire burns, the death goes about taking its toll. I mean, you remember that? 42, 40. Not this verse. Yeah, 42, 325, 42. Madbhayadvati vatoyam suryastapati madbhayat. Suryastapati madbhayat. Varshatindro dahatyagnir mrityuscharati madbhayat. Look at the position of the Lord. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows. I mean, do we have? Arjuna said, Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayoreva sudushkaram. You cannot control the wind at all. No chance. And the mind is even more difficult than that to control. So, wind with no control at all. But that wind is so much under the control of the Lord. Not that he's so much in the control because he's very expert in handling. But if he, like, a pilot is in control of the flight. Okay. But what kind of control it is? If he does this little bit of mistake, it will go out of control and then you'll have a crash. If you pull the fuel switch or something a little bit off here, it will be crashed. He is in control because he's following the protocol very strictly. Who is afraid here? The plane is afraid or the pilot is afraid? The pilot is afraid. That's why he has so many procedural protocols that he has checklist and he has everything. He's just going by step by step by step. He's doing everything, and the co-pilot is actually telling him, okay, you have done this check. You have done this check. Oh, this one you have not done. Please do that. Okay, you've done. Okay, check. So they are fearful. They are fearful. You can say they are in control only because they're following the procedure exactly. But they're at the mercy of the elements. If something goes wrong, they have no control. But what kind of control Krishna has over the wind that we have absolutely no control on? The wind is afraid. Vayu Bhagavan, the Vayudev, Agnidev, they are afraid. It's not that fire is burning because the Lord has, put the exact right conditions and he's just monitoring those conditions and making sure that everything is right all the time, and that's why the fire is burning. No. He's so carefree. If the fire doesn't burn as it should, Agnidev had it. He's going to face the fire of Krishna. Agnidev is going to burn. Agnidev is going to burn. That's the kind of control Krishna has. Okay? It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows, out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me. Not that, oh, I have put this correct condition of oxygen and helium and hydrogen and stuff like that, and I have triggered the nuclear fusion reaction, and I kept the conditions very perfectly so that, yeah, so that's why the sun is working. Nah, sun, you better work. If you don't work, you had it. That's the kind of control Krishna has. The sun is now trying hard not to disobey the Lord. Strictly on schedule. He is going and he's burning and he's maintaining the life without the slightest tremor, without the slightest flinch, without the slightest glitch. He's doing it out of fear of the Lord. That much he's obedient. Sambhrama sevyamanam. Sambhrama means what? With great attention to every single minute detail of the order that they have been given, without letting up on even a single aspect of it. Now imagine the kind of service we do. We make so many mistakes here and there, everything mess, and even when we do service, the son cannot go wrong in his service. He cannot go wrong. The timing, the intensity, the everything is exactly as the Lord would want it, without the slightest deviation. I mean, the last chapter, in the Bhagavatam that we are currently going on, now it's the 24th chapter, I think, 23rd chapter, the movements of the sun. You can see how the movements of the sun are described, how precise and how much to the milli nano picosecond they have to maintain the schedule and the order. That's the kind of control the Lord has. Okay, the sun shines out of fear of me. The Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Not that here weather forecast. No, what is going to happen? No. You better make it happen as I want it to happen. And this is the code. And so he has given. So fire burns out of fear of me. If the fire doesn't burn, the fire will burn. Fire will burn. And death goes about taking its toll out of fear. Death is our greatest fear in this material world. But death is fearing the Lord. That much the Lord has control. Okay. Easily he's controlling everything. Easily. And that Lord is like this. Sarathya parashada sevana sakhya dautya virasananugamanas stavana pranaman snigdheshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha vishnor bhaktim karoti nripatish charanaravinde. You know what is the most important word in this verse? Snigdheshu. I'll tell you why. Okay. Maharaj Parikshit heard that out of his causeless mercy, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, who is universally obeyed, rendered all kinds of service. And the Snigdheshu is this, malleable. This is the most important, the crux of this verse. What made that fearsome Lord, whom even the demigods fear and carry out their duties, become so subservient to the Pandavas? The thing is, they were malleable. Okay. What is malleable? Okay, let's see what Krishna did. Rendered all kinds of service to the malleable sons of Pandu by accepting posts ranging from chariot driver. What is a driver? What is a, come on, chariot driver, to president, to messenger, a postman. How much important is a postman's job, man? Friend. Okay, friend. Night watchman. To some limit. No, there's no limit. Krishna has gone down to the absolute niche of the niche. He has done everything, etc., according to the will of the Pandavas, obeying them like a servant and offering obeisances like one younger in years. When he heard this, Maharaj Parikshit became overwhelmed with devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. because he knew what it means. Because he knew what. And malleable, what is malleable? Malleable means when a metal is, easily bendable. We can easily, bendable is not a word, but, you know, when you can easily bend a metal, that is a malleable. When it's too hard, it's too hard. And brittle means when it easily breaks. You can't bend it, it breaks. You try to bend it, it breaks. And some are, you bend it, it will not break, but it will not bend. It's too hard. It's just malleable. Malleable means, why? Snigdheshu Pandushu. The Pandavas were malleable, means they would do anything. Santushto yena kenava. That is a devotee. He does not complain. He does not complain. Pandavas were like that, you see. This, I think 15 maybe. Santushto yena kenava. 0. Kenachit, sorry. Okay. Santushto yena kenachit. What is this verse? 18, 19. Okay. 19. Santushto yena kenachit. Aniketa sthiramatir. So Pandavas were santushto yena kenachit. They were happy in any condition. They never complained one bit. Krishna, whatever you want to do with us, you do. We just want to be your servant. They were not rigid. No, Krishna, we are your devotees, but you have to give, this is the contract, otherwise we're not going to be your devotees. No, there's no rigidity. They're not attached to anything. They're happy anywhere, any situation, whatever. Krishna throws them in, they're okay. That is malleable. Because they were so accepting of Krishna's whatever he gave, whatever situations, he became their servant and served them in so many ways. You may think, oh, still they suffered. No, they never suffered. Not once did they suffer. It looks like that externally they may suffering. They're not at all. Because Krishna was with them, they never actually suffered. Aniketa sthiramatir. Aniketa means he does not have any shelter. Because the Lord is his shelter. He doesn't even care for us. And the Pandavas, they were in the forest, they were in the palace, anytime they were devotees. They never complained, oh, palaces, we are used to comforts, now we're in the forest, everything is so difficult here. Why, Krishna, why did you do this? No, never, not once. They accepted. Enthusiastically they went about serving the Lord. So, that's what made them qualified, that Krishna had became like this to them. Night watchman. So when he pleases, being satisfied with the sincere attempt of the devotional service by one depending completely on the mercy of the Lord, then he may be seen out of his own accord. Then, evam yatantam vijane mam aha gocharo giram gambhira slakshnaya vacha shuchaha prashamayanniva. Gambhira slakshnaya, pleasing to hear, grave voice. Since my attempts in that lonely place, seeing my attempts in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief. Like Akashvani, grave voice he heard, but very pleasing voice he heard. Now, we don't need to wait for such pleasing voice to show that Lord is actually. No. The voice of the spiritual master is the same as what the Lord would say. So when there are books, when there is Bhagavad Gita, when there is explained by Prabhupada, when there is Bhagavatam, like you see behind me, the Bhagavatam, all that, when the books are there, is that not Giram Slakshnaya Vacha? What? Gambhira Shlakshnaya. Giram Gambhira Shlakshnaya Vacha. Is that not? It's the same thing, right? So we have to read. So the Lord is saying, just like here, seeing my items in that lonely place, the personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all mundane description, spoke to me with gravity and pleasing words just to mitigate my grief. Did he speak? Did he speak only to Narada? No, because with these words recorded, now he's speaking to us also, right? So we are not bereft of that chance of the Lord speaking to us. Oh, Narada had that, Lord spoke to Narada, he is not speaking to me. But a fool, why did the Lord made sure that this such an old incident in the previous day of Brahma this happened, not even on this day of Brahma, and that incident is coming, and he made sure that it is recorded. You see, it's happened in a lonely place, nobody to record. But the Lord is so kind, Krishna is so kind that this such a remote, unknown location, unknown conversation nobody heard, but he made sure that the whole world knows it. Even if there is no recording instrument, voice recorder, app on your phone, smartphone. If the Krishna wants, he can make it recorded anywhere, anytime, anyhow. He will make it. And he actually now recorded millions and trillions of years later, billions of years later, we are still having access to what Narad Muni heard from the Lord. So he is speaking to us also. So how are we bereft of the opportunity that Narada Muni had of such instruction from the Lord? So we should never think like that. So, Hantasmin Janmani Bhavan Mamam Drashtumiharhati Avipakva Kashayanam Durdarshoham Kuyoginam. Oh wow. This word is again the same thing, Durdarsho. Here today's verse is Sudurdarsham Imam Rupam. Here Durdarshoham Kuyoginam. Kuyoginam. Okay, this is so important in Sanskrit. Hantasmin Janmani Bhavan. In this life, in this duration of life, Mamam Drashtum Iharhati. You do not deserve Arhata. Arhata means deserve, the right, Adhikar. You do not deserve. That's a strong word. Bhavan Mamam Drashtum Iharhati. You don't deserve to see me again. Wow. Narada Muni served the pure devotees for 4 months. Okay. And his mother died. He was a lone boy, and then he went and he traveled so far, and then he meditated on the Lord with great earnestness according to the instructions he received from the pure devotees. He kept those instructions, he meditated on those instructions, he meditated on the Lord, and he saw the Lord, and now he's hearing the Lord's voice, and yet the Lord is saying, you don't deserve to see me in this lifetime anymore. In this lifetime anymore. Avipakva kashayanam, material dirt. Avipakva, immature. Pakva. Pakva means cooked. Pacha, pakva. This is the same. Shvapakan. Shvapaka means one who cooks a dog and eats. Shva means dog. Paka means one who cooks. Although it is said one who eats a dog is Shvapaka or Shvapacha. Same thing. Shvapakoto gariyan. So, Avipakva means one who is not cooked, half baked, as they say, not baked, not cooked. Half baked devotees, he's calling Narad Muni a half baked devotee. Imagine where we are then. Narad Muni, when he was meditating, he saw the Lord once in his meditation. He got ecstasy, eyes all tearing, everything. And he is hearing the Lord now, the Lord's voice directly. And he called him Avipakva Kashayanam. Mamam Drashtum Iharhati. You don't deserve to see me again in this lifetime. Durdarshah Kuyoginam. Incomplete in service. You're not complete in your service. So we should know whether That's why the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, yesterday I read that part I will read again. Kudarsham should be smashed with Sudarshan. Kudarshanam must be smashed with Sudarshanam so that we can have Bhagavad Darshanam. How beautiful that is, right? Do you remember that? You see, Darshan means two things. Darshan means to see the Lord. Darshan also means philosophy. Okay? So, because by philosophical vision, we can see things that we cannot see otherwise. So, that's also called as by darshan, to see the thing in a particular way, to contemplate things in a particular way. That is also darshan. So, philosophy is also darshan. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur stuck to his point without knowing who is the supreme and the authorized process for seeing him. Any such declaration that I have seen God will only serve to deceive you. Pursuant to this point, he once explained that without lacerating, without destroying, without completely tearing apart all Kudarshana, wrong philosophies, by Sudarshana, correct philosophy, no one can attain Bhagavad Darshana, audience of Bhagavan. Kudarshana, Sudarshana, Bhagavad Darshana. Kuyoginam and Suyoginam. So, Durdarshaha aham kuyoginam, kashayanam avipakva, mamam drashtumiharhati. O Narada, the Lord said, I regret to inform you that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. The Lord decided already. You can try all you want, Narada. Of course, he did not say in this tone, but I'm just adding this dramatic flavor. But he gave a very definitive statement that you will not be able to see me anymore. Anymore. You may try whatever you want to do. You can try all you want. You will never see me anymore. You don't, in fact, the word in the Sanskrit is you don't deserve to see me anymore in this lifetime. What? What if he changes? What if he becomes actually very devotional? No. Whatever you do, however long your lifetime, you're not going to see me this lifetime. Those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from all material taints can hardly see me. Kuyoginam durdarsham. That's why he's sudurdarsham. Because we're incomplete in our service, not because of the composition of the Lord's form. Oh, he's Sachidananda, he's very subtle, that's why we cannot see him, we cannot see air, we cannot see mind, therefore he's even more subtle. Yes, that is true, but we can see the subtle if he wants to show himself. And how will he show himself? If he's satisfied with us, how will he be satisfied with us? When his pure devotee is satisfied. And how to satisfy his pure devotee? You have to follow his order, execute his order. So what is his order? That's what we need to know. Prabhupada's order is to distribute the books, to make devotees, to become ourselves a great devotee. We follow everything properly. Achar and prachar must be there. Then yes, if Prabhupada is satisfied, then he may recommend to Krishna, and then Krishna cannot refuse. So that's the shortcut. That's not just shortcut. There's no long cut anymore. Chhadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistar Pai Chekeba. So that's the method. Sakridyat darshitam rupam etat kamaya tenagha mat kamah shanakaihi sadhuhu sarvan munjati hrichayan. Oh, verses 1, you have only, the Lord is saying to Narada, you have only once seen my person, and this is just to increase your desire for me. This is the reason why the Lord may actually sometimes inspire us. We find Krishna consciousness very inspiring in the beginning, very fresh and new and all exciting. Just to increase your desire for me. Just to increase our desire for Krishna, he does that. Because the more you hanker for me, that's what today's verse is. Nityam darshana kangshinaha. Darshana kangshinaha. We should hanker to see him. And this means that on a daily basis, for example, Mangalarti, we should be waiting before the Mangalarti and waiting for the curtain to open, not that after curtain opens, we come. That's very bad. I myself have done this many times. I will admit. It's very bad. I'm telling this to myself even. We should always wait. Darshana Kangshinaha we should have. We should wait to see the Lord and eagerly waiting. It's very, very important. If I don't have any interest to see him, why will the Lord even show himself to me? Because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all material desires. So you see that? This is very important. Nityam Darshanaka. And it is Nityam Darshanakankshana. Of course, here is mentioned the demigods always, but we should always be in that mood. Nityam Darshanakankshana. Always wanting to see the Lord. That's the thing, a devotee, even though when he has Krishna, he's always thinking that I don't have Krishna. He Nanda Suno Kutaha. Where are you, Krishna? That means he has Krishna. If he's that eager, then he has actually Krishna. नानोपचारकृतपूजनमार्तबन्धोः प्रेम्णैव भक्तहृदयं सुखविद्रुतं स्यात् यावत् क्षुधस्ति जठरे जरठापिपासा तावत् सुखाय भवतो ननु भक्ष्यपेये. Ramananda Rai continued, as long as there is hunger and thirst within the stomach, varieties of food and drink make one feel very happy. Similarly, when the Lord is worshipped with pure love, the various activities performed in the course of that worship awaken transcendental bliss in the heart of the devotee. When the Lord is worshipped with pure love, the various activities performed in the course of that worship awaken transcendental bliss in the heart of the devotee. So we may be engaging in all sorts of activities, but we may not have the transcendental bliss if we don't have the greed. Just like if I eat, but I don't have hunger, I'm just eating. I don't know. I don't know why I'm eating. That's a disorder, eating disorder, they say. But when one is hungry, when he eats it with such gratitude. Oh, this is so nice. This is so nice. But the same food eaten by a person who is not hungry, he will not feel it as so nice. In fact, however nice it is, he's like, I want to puke because I'm so full. Even the best food, you cannot take it. But when he's hungry, the same food appears very tasty, very relishable. So there should be this unlimited hunger for Krishna. Hunger. And then whatever we do on our everyday activities in Krishna service will actually awaken our transcendental bliss. That's the way to see the Lord. So the next verse. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamate kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate tatra laulyamapi mulyamekalam janma koti sukritairna labhyate. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. So again, there is no mechanical process. Oh, if I do these pious activities, I'll get Krishna. No, thousands of hundreds of lives, millions of lives cannot be had. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is intense greed to obtain it. This mood should be there. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. So where is it available? It is available with a pure devotee. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, एकाकी अमार नाहि पाए बला हरिनाम संकीर्तने धाय तव पाचे पाचे कृष्ण से तुम्हार कृष्ण देता प्यारो धाय तव पाचे पाचे. I run after you, Vaishnava, because you have Krishna and you can give Krishna. I'm running after you because it's available with you and I'm running after you. I want that. So running after you means what? Dhai tava pacha pacha means the path chalked out by the spiritual master. We have to run on that. Exactly. Not deviating from the path. Exactly following the footsteps. Then yes. Okay, so questions, comments. Let's stop it here. What to speak of demigods? Even Mahavishnu was hankering to see Krishna, yes. How to see Bhagwan in real life. That's what this class is about. So hear the whole class and you will get an idea. Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Yes, every day Bhagavatam Sevaya. Then Nityam Darshana Kankshinaha. Then we can see. What does surrender to Krishna means? Okay. I'll give you just the answer. There's unlimited depth to this, but in simple way, in simple form, it is this. आनुकूल्यस्य संकल्पः प्रातिकूल्यस्य वर्जनं रक्षिष्यतीति विश्वासो गोप्तृत्वे वर्णं तथा आत्मनिक्षेप कार्पण्ये षड्विधा शरणागतिः. The thing is, the translation here is not. (22.100). Yeah. So six aspects of surrender, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a song book, a book of songs called Sharanagati, and in that Sharanagati, there are multiple songs for each of these six aspects. Sharanagati. Actually, I have this book. Let's see. So this is the book, Sharanagati. So this book, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote all the songs on each of these six aspects. So what are the six aspects? Let's see. Multiple songs on each of these aspects, so that we really understand what Sharanagati really means. The six divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service. So whatever is favorable to devotional service, we have to accept. The rejection of unfavorable things. Whatever does not help us in our devotional life, we should reject. The conviction that Krishna will give protection. The acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master. Full self-surrender. That means Atmanikshepa. Completely giving up on ourselves. And humility. Now, of all this, the Goptritve Varanam, the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, is the central point of surrender. And the rest of them are the limbs of surrender. So in that way, this is the general description of surrender, but it can go very deep because that's why, to make us understand all the depth of that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this whole book, Sharanagati, to make us understand actually what that surrender really means. So in the form of nice, melodious songs, he is teaching us this very great philosophy on how to actually think ourselves as we're surrendering, how Sharanagati feels, how we should think in the process of Sharanagati. So he teaches through the songs. So I actually wish to learn many of these songs, memorize them. So we should memorize. In fact, I read in one place that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mandated that his disciples should know a list of 32 songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Sharanagati, and he has 5 books of songs, Gitavali, Gitamrita, and I think I might get the names wrong, Kalyana Kalpataru. So no, Kalyana Kalpataru, Gitavali, Gitamala, and Sharanagati and Baula Sangeet. So these 5 books he wrote of songs, and from among these 5 books, 32 songs, he said every devotee must know those songs by heart, all the lyrics. Then one can actually become a proper devotee. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that. So that's actually a very good instruction, because we need to know these songs, and Acharyas did not write these things for no reason. I mean, we should learn these things. We should learn slokas. We should learn all these things nicely. Become a nice devotee, and then we can meditate and contemplate on these instructions. Not just singing for the melody of it. That's the least important part of the song. It is important because it is catchy. Rhythms we can easily remember. That's why rhythms are important. Songs are important because I think there is a purport by Prabhupada, Yashoda. Yeah, this is the one, right? Yeah, Gitani. So you see, 10:9, 1 and 2. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ekadagraha Dasishu Yashodanandagehini Karmantaraniyuktasu Nirmamantha Swayam Dadhi Yani Yani Ha Gitani Yani Yani Ha Gitani Tatbala Charitani Cha Dadhi Nirmanthane Kale Smaranti Tanyagayata. This is very important, especially this second verse, 10:9-2. So what she did, Yashoda, Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. One day when Mother Yashoda saw that all the maidservants were engaged in other household affairs, she personally began to churn the yogurt. While churning, she remembered the childish activities of Krishna, and in her own way she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. See that? In her own way, she composed songs and enjoyed singing to herself about all those activities. So in song format, it can be immortalized. It is easy for people to remember. That's why these poems, these verses, these songs are so important. They're not just some entertainment. I hate it when devotees don't consider the Vaishnava song to be important. Like Bhagavatam class, we have the Bhagavatam class. Before the Bhagavatam class, we usually have a Vaishnava bhajan. We sing one song from the Vaishnava songs. So sometimes some devotees will come slowly and they'll take their own time and then come after the bhajan is finished. Now class, I'm going to attend the class. Why? Vaishnava bhajan not important. No, that was entertainment. So okay. I will class. Missing the point totally. It has to be taken seriously. In fact, we should have classes. That's why actually I started Songs of Vaishnava Acharyas. I should revive that series again, and I should go through all these songs. We should study these songs like we study Shastra, because they are Shastra actually. They are not entertainment songs like movie songs or something. Just Krishna, Radha, something. No, there's so much meaning there. So in the purport, let's see what Prabhupada wrote here. You see how she's thinking. It is understood that among all the cows of Nanda Maharaj, several of Mother Yashoda's cows ate only grasses so flavorful that the grasses would automatically flavor the milk. Mother Yashoda wanted to collect the milk from these cows, make it into yogurt and churn into butter personally, since she thought that this child Krishna was going to the houses of the neighborhood gopas and gopis to steal butter because he did not like the milk and yogurt ordinarily prepared. So you see how she's thinking. Instead of chastising Krishna, of course she chastised Krishna also, but that was also all playful. Actually, she was enjoying all of that. In fact, the gopis, the elder gopis in whose houses he was stealing butter, they were also enjoying. Their complaints to Yashoda also, it's all enjoyment. It's all Chinmay Rasa. There's no real complaint there. Their complaints are all actually glorifications of Krishna. Oh, Krishna did this, Krishna did that. Oh, he came and actually they were remembering all those. So it may look like a complaint to Mother Yashoda, but actually what they're doing is they're narrating Krishna's pastimes to Mother Yashoda and sharing. Parasparanu kathanam. So, Pavanam Bhagavad Yashaha. So, they're actually describing Krishna's pastimes to each other, and that's what actually is going on. But it looks like a complaint and all drama around it, but that is actually all Chinmay Rasa. Okay? So, but still, she was thinking, oh, he's stealing from other people's houses, so he's interested in their yogurt. Maybe he's not interested in my yogurt because I'm not making it nicely. Let me improve my yogurt making. Let me make it more flavorful. Let me give flavorful grass to the cow so that the milk will be flavorful, so the yogurt will have that flavor, and maybe he will be interested in this yogurt then, because it's a different kind of, oh wow, this is so nice. So she is thinking how to serve Krishna now more better. Not that, oh, he's stealing from their house. How come he's eating their yogurt? Before Krishna goes there, I will spoil their yogurt and I will break it myself, the pot, so that Krishna cannot have it, and he will only eat my yogurt. No. Why I'm saying this, because when we serve, when in our devotee community, if somebody is doing better service, and if I'm, it's like he's getting more prominence. Actually, it's not. We should never covet prominence, but just that. Okay, for example, he has distributed more books than me. How should I distribute more books? Let me meditate on how can I improve my book distribution. That should be the thing, and I should maybe even take tips from that person and meditate on Prabhupada more, meditate on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, meditate on how to distribute more books and see what I can do and have more and pray to Krishna. So in this way, I become improving and I improve my own service. That's most important. Not to, oh, he's distributing more books. Okay, never mind. You know what I'll do? Before he can sell the book, I will cut him and then I will sell the book to the person. That's not Vaikuntha consciousness. This is Vaikuntha consciousness. So while chanting the bottom, Mother Yashoda was singing about the childhood activities of Krishna. It was formerly a custom that if one wanted to remember something constantly, he would transform it into poetry or have this done by a professional poet. See, if one wanted to remember something constantly, he would transform it into poetry or have this done by a professional poet. It appears that Mother Yashoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. Therefore, she poeticized all of Krishna's childhood activities, such as the killing of Putana, Aghasura, Shakatasura, Trinavarta, and while churning the butter, she sang about these activities in poetical form. This should be the practice of persons eager to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. This incident shows how Krishna conscious Mother Yashoda was. To stay in Krishna consciousness, we should follow such persons. So we should, not that we should write now songs. That's not the point here. There are already so many songs by Vaishnavacharyas. There are so many shlokas in the Bhagavatam, so many shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. They have been already poeticized. Instead of we poeticizing or hiring a professional poet, the sages themselves poeticized it for us, making it easy for us to just remember. Nothing else we need to do. We just need to learn and remember and chant those verses. That's all we need to do. Already poeticized for us. Now, we should learn those. And that's how we become Krishna conscious. That's why it is said, you see. This should be the practice of persons to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. This incident shows how Krishna conscious Mother Yashoda was. To stay in Krishna consciousness, we should follow such persons. So this is the method. All glories to senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Yes. That's how we should. We should respect not only Prabhupada but also the senior disciples who are teaching us so many things. What is that? Sadhau Sange Swatovare. Let's go there. That was 22:131. श्रीमद् भागवतार्थानाम् आस्वादो रसिकैः सह सजातीयाशये स्निग्धे साधौ संगः स्वतोवरे. One should taste the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees, and one should associate with the devotees who are more advanced than oneself and who are endowed with a similar type of affection for the Lord. Preeti Chauhan is saying, I love to see the devotion of ISKCON devotees, but only thing I hate is you don't believe in Brahma and Shiva, which is wrong. Without knowing anything, please don't give your opinions, because that's not a fact. You think we don't believe in Shiva and Brahma? We believe in them more than you. We know, not just we believe, we know their position also. We are not delusional that to think they are God. They are Devata. They are devotees, the greatest of devotees of Krishna, Brahma and Shiva. but they're not God. And you do not know. You think they're all God because you have not read Bhagavad Gita. You should read Bhagavad Gita. That's why bhakti is not just, you say, I love to see the devotion of ISKCON devotee. You don't know what devotion means. Not devotion does not mean just dancing or chanting or, not just that. It is based Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina. Aikantike Harer Bhakti Utpata Yaiva Kalpate. If you do bhakti without being informed by the Shastras, the Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatra Vidhim Vina, if you don't consult the scriptures in knowing the real standard of devotion, you will not know what devotion actually is. You would not know who is to be even, who should we devote our life to. You don't know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the only one to be worshipped. And that does not mean we don't respect Shiva and Brahma. We respect them as the greatest of devotees of Krishna. We have our utmost respect for them. But we don't have this false notion that they're God, that they're equal to Krishna. We don't have that. Because it's just not true. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no one equal to me, no one superior to me. I am the Lord and Master of everyone, even of Shiva and Brahma. Mattah parataram nanyat. Kinchidasti dhananjaya. Sarvadharman paritijya mam ekam sharanam vraja. You must be knowing Hindi. Ekam means what? In Sanskrit, ekam is same as Hindi eka. One. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me alone, Krishna is saying. Not to surrender to me, surrender to them, everybody. No, surrender to me alone. In fact, he condemned Devata worship in 7th chapter and 9th chapter. In 10th chapter, he is saying, I am the source of the Devatas. So you do not know these things. So you should, if you cannot say I hate, nobody cares about what you hate. We should know what Krishna hates. He hates us going to do demigod worship and not surrendering to Krishna. He hates that. So I want to be judged by Krishna. I don't care about the judgment of the world. You yourself also have to be thinking of what Krishna wants actually. Let me see what Bhagavad Gita is. Don't judge devotion from just outside. Actually come and know what it is. Bhagavad Gita is a book that everyone should read. You also should read. And I don't think you have read it. Because if you did read it, you will not come to this conclusion. So you please open the book Bhagavad Gita and read first. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Okay? Not Bhagavad Gita as it's supposed to be, as it was, as it should have been. No, as it is. That's what Prabhupada's commentary is, as it is. As Krishna wanted it to be conveyed, Prabhupada has conveyed in English language. So please read Bhagavad Gita, then you will know. (176) Revival purport. Revival of the dormant affection or love of Godhead does not depend on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting, but it solely and wholly depends on the causeless mercy of Krishna, which you have read. That is, then why are we chanting and all these things? It is to please, first of all, follow the order of the spiritual master, associate with Krishna, and reverentially chant, and then Krishna will slowly be pleased with us. If he chooses to, of course, but he promised that he would, if we follow the instruction of his pure devotee. So we should follow the order of this pure devotee. Lock the gate at 5 a.m., then everyone will turn up on time. Verse 8 has been halted. Okay, that's a good observation. Verse 8 has been halted. Yeah. Okay. Wow, it's actually very late today. But yeah, let's go through that because the different stages of, because undivided attention, what is that? Bhaktya to ananyaya shakya. Undivided devotional service, only by undivided devotional service can he be seen, can Krishna be seen. So what is that undivided devotional service? I wanted to explain. I got distracted. Okay, let's read this part. In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana Dasha, the stage of hearing. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, one can attain to the stage of acceptance called Varana Dasha. So, in the Shravana Dasha, although we are hearing, we are not accepting yet. So, we have to come to the point of acceptance called Varana Dasha. Varana also means, you see, when one attains this stage, he becomes attached to hearing of Krishna Katha. In the beginning, we may not have full attachment, but when we come to Varana Dasha, when we accept, then we become very attached because, okay, everything is that is true. So if something is not clicking, that means, okay, I need to advance my understanding, and then everything becomes more and more relishable. We learn every day newer things. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of smaranavastha. So notice what is happening here. Shravana Dasha is hearing, Varana Dasha is accepting. So he's accepting. Then smaranavastha, he's chanting in ecstasy, able to chant in ecstasy. He's attaining the stage of smarana avastha, the stage of remembering. Recollection. So in the stage of remembering, smaranavastha, there is subdivision. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance are the 5 items of progressive Krishna smarana. So in the smaranavastha, there is more and more subdivisions and more progressive stages. And here is where the word undivided devotional service, I want to highlight that phrase. And okay, at first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at intervals. So this is called divided. There is a division. There is like divided by intervals. But later, remembrance proceeds uninterrupted. This is undivided. But when remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated, thick. Not just no remembrance, no remembrance, but also thick and intense. So when remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated and is called meditation. When meditation expands and becomes constant, even more, it is called anusmriti. That means sometimes there is meditation and sometimes there is just thinking, So there is division between thick and thin remembrance, like more intense remembrance and remembrance, but not as intense. So that kind of division may be there. Even that becomes reduced and becomes all concentrated. When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called anusmriti. By uninterrupted and unceasing anusmriti, one enters the stage of samadhi or spiritual trance. After smarana dasha or samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. That is called sampatti dasha, the perfection of life. So this is the meaning of undivided devotional service. Undivided, without any gap, but then not just thin, become thick, and that thick becomes constant and becomes even more thicker. And that, like rabdi, rabdi sweet is boiled down milk, and then you boil it down, it becomes thick and sweet, and finally it's rabdi and so sweet. So that kind of thing, and finally he achieves his eternal relationship with Krishna. That is called sampatti dasha. That's when we can actually see the Lord. To have darshan of the Lord, we must come to sampatti dasha. So thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so that's where we end. Thank you very much for your time and patience. I think that was a very important subject. I hope it was helpful for you. It was definitely helpful for me, so that I can meditate more and more on these instructions. And that's why I always do it, for my own purification. Vani jani vana jani, karana apana shodhan. So, okay. Thank you very much. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा।